So everyone, welcome back. This is going to be my review of The Last of Us Season 2, Episode 6. So I got to watch this last night, and I will say once again, I thought this was a very strong episode. I love this episode. It was great for many reasons. First of all, we get Joel back. Pedro Pascal back as Joel was just great to see. It was a very heartfelt episode, very emotional episode. I will admit, it did get me in tears a couple of times, especially the end. That was a pretty tough moment. But no, but seriously, I thought it was very well done, very heartfelt, very emotional, and very sad as well. There's a lot of sadness. It's just, I just want Joel back. I wish that we had Joel. But this is the weird thing about this whole situation with Joel. And for me personally, I love the second game. I've said this multiple times for every episode I think I do on The Last of Us. The Last of Us Part 2 is one of my favorite games ever. And the story of that is, for me, it's a masterpiece. I know there's a lot of mixed feelings on the game, but for me, it is a masterpiece. I love it. And I love the decision they made to kill Joel, especially early in the game. As much as I hated it, like, I love Joel just as much as any other fan. But it really did set up the story for what we got in Last of Us Part 2, and I love the story. I love the whole perspective of Ellie, playing as Ellie for the first half, then the second half playing as Abby and seeing her perspective and seeing, you know, the different sides to the story and the motivations behind everything. It made sense to me, and I really loved it. As much as I hated Joel dying, it really works for me. So I'm glad the show has followed that and done that. But now after watching this episode, I really do feel the loss of Pedro Pascal's presence as Joel in the show, and I really wish we had more of him. I don't know if we're gonna get more of him. There was quite a lot of flashbacks, like, merged into one in this episode, but there was also quite a few flashbacks, or some moments especially, that I was looking forward to that weren't here. There's still some flashbacks left from the game that we do get. Maybe they're gonna add them in somewhere, maybe in Season 3. I don't know if they're going to do that. I really hope they do, because there is a big action set piece with Ellie and Joel in the games, and it's a flashback. Maybe we might get that, but it doesn't look like we're gonna. But either way, I was really happy with everything we got. But it's just, I just want more Joel. Pedro Pascal as Joel is, for me, is like a perfect casting. He's just so good as him. In this episode, his performance is incredible. The emotions that he portrays, especially at the end scene where Joel and Ellie are talking on the patio. Not the patio, fucking hell. The porch. Patio. Anyway, you know what I mean? The very end scene, pretty much, where Joel and Ellie are talking, and literally Ellie confronts him for the first time and asks him, tell me everything now. Tell me the truth. Did you kill everyone? And was there a cure? And am I the only person who is immune? All these questions get asked to Joel, and the way that Pedro Pascal portrays these emotions, the way he acts out this whole scene was very emotional. Even Bella Ramsey, I thought Bella did an amazing job in this episode. Like, I really did feel the sadness and the desperation and the heartache and everything that was portrayed from both of these actors in this episode. I thought was done so well. Really did get me in tears at one point, and I just thought they did a great job. So seeing Pedro Pascal as Joel was so good, but also really sad, because I don't think we're going to get any more of him. We might get some little bits here and there, but yeah, I just think the show is definitely missing his presence. But we'll see, obviously, how things play out. I've been really enjoying the show so far, even without Pedro. So yeah, but it was just definitely a moment of, oh, God, I wish Joel was actually still in the show. So we get a really cool flashback of Joel as a kid in this episode, and that's not from the games. That's obviously written and new for the show, and I thought it was a really interesting and very good way to open up the episode, to show how Joel was as a kid and how Tommy was getting beaten up by his dad from time to time, and that Joel was there for him. He was a protector, and he was telling Tommy, look, he's not going to beat you up anymore. It's not going to happen. And he's a protector over Tommy. And then for Joel to have the confrontation with his dad and to see a different side of his dad, he breaks his dad down for his dad to open up and realize that his dad actually doesn't know what he's even doing, and he's struggling as well, and he's just trying to sort of like do what he can, but he, you know, he's only human, he makes mistakes. And you know, that heartfelt moment between Joel and his dad was very eye-opening to how Joel is as a person. out, it explains a lot more as to why Joel makes the decisions that he does later on in life and the things that we know Joel has done. I thought it was a really cool way to show how that's kind of developed or been created into Joel from such a young age. There was an inside preview that I watch after every episode. They upload an inside look at each episode, like the making of it, and the writers and the directors and everyone behind the show being made. They give you their mindset and insight to how they think and what their thoughts are behind the show and the writing and what their intentions were, and you get to see a bit of the behind the scenes. They're really interesting. They're very cool. Go watch them if you haven't seen them. They happen after every episode. But yeah, I watched them, and Craig Mazin, the director, did say that Joel has like a savior complex, from being such a young age. He wants to save people and coming from saving Tommy from his own dad. And I thought that was a really cool way to sort of build Joel in the early stages of his life to how he is, how we know him in the show or the games. We also get loads of flashbacks of Ellie's life and how Joel and Ellie's relationship have blossomed and got worsened over time, and each flashback is on Ellie's birthday, and it was really cool to see because a lot of this was new to The Last of Us. We didn't get all this in the games. We did get the main one, which I'll go into in a moment, which I thought was amazing, but we get a lot of flashbacks of Ellie's life from each birthday and how, it's such a sad story because Joel loves Ellie. He loves her like it's like his own daughter. We know what Joel's gone through with the loss of his own daughter, Sarah, and then we get to see, how he just loves Ellie so much, and each birthday he's trying to please her and make her happy. He's doing everything he can to make her as happy as she could possibly be in this world of The Last of Us. And it's just really nice and a beautiful time to see them two together having fun and in love with each other. But then as she gets older, she starts to become more of like a teenager. She's experimenting with drugs, with girls, getting tattoos. She's going off the rails a little bit. She's also having this weight of what's happened with the Fireflies, and the whole situation with her is weighing her down. It's getting more and more to her, and she's slowly starting to not be okay with it. And, it's getting to a point, like a boiling point, and she really is desperate to have this conversation with Joel. Finally, we got the moment where Joel sings that song to Ellie from the games, where he plays the guitar. We had that at the beginning of the game of Last of Us Part 2. Here we had it in this episode, and it really worked. And I thought Pedro Pascal as Joel playing this song, it really felt like Joel playing that guitar and singing. It sounded just the same. And yeah, that was a real special moment, and it did make me tear up again. Then we have the amazing flashback of Ellie's birthday that we got in the games, where they go to the Natural History Museum. And this was amazing. I loved all of this because it was literally pretty much word for word, scene for scene, shot for shot from the game. It was done so well. And also Neil Druckmann, the creator, the writer of The Last of Us Part 1 and Part 2, he was the one who directed this, and I can't remember her name, but the writer of the games, she also was the writer of this episode as well. And you can see it. You can see it. You could feel it. You could see it. There was some shots that I was like, you can tell that this is Neil Druckmann. There was some really cool like close-up angles of when Joel was fixing the guitar, seeing all the different close-up, different angles, and of the cassette tapes on the side of the table, and it was definitely Neil Druckmann's style of directing. It felt like certain shots that you would get in the game, and I really like to see this. I kind of wish that Neil Druckmann, and I wish, I need to remember her name, but the woman who wrote this episode, who wrote the games, I kind of wish that they just wrote and directed the whole show, to be honest. I mean, I think Craig Mazin's done a great job, but this episode really did make me feel like, I wish that Neil Druckmann did it all, and she did the same. Let me find her name out, because I can't keep saying she. Hallie Gross, that's it. So, Neil Druckmann, Hallie Gross, they co-wrote the games together, and she is also the writer of this episode. And Neil Druckmann was the director, and I just wish that I want more of them two together, because it really felt to me very much like Joel and Ellie from the games. This was one of the closest I've seen Bella Ramsey as Ellie. It really felt like Ellie a lot of the time in this episode. I thought it was done very well. And I just thought that she did a great job of writing this episode. And for them to portray this flashback in such a way that was so close to the games. It felt just exactly the same. Although we did have some of the flashback missing. And I'm unsure as to why, because if you go to the insider preview of the episode, we see Joel and Ellie stood inside the museum with all the dinosaur bones around them. But I mean, I watched it and it wasn't part of the episode. So I'm a little bit unsure why they removed that. I'm a bit confused why we never got that, but maybe they just, had to fit it all into 1 hour. But even without that, I still loved the flashback. Joel and Ellie walked through the forest. Coming to that massive dinosaur, and Ellie climbs up to the top of it. I was hoping she was going to jump off and jump into the water like the games, but they never did that. The walking through the stargazing corridors where it's all blacked out of all the different stars, that was right from the games. And even going into that planetary area where they have the planets and Ellie's moving the device and all the planets are circling around, that's straight from the games. Even the dialogue was straight from the games. It was great. I loved all this. I thought it was done so well. And then we have that beautiful moment between Joel and Ellie where they come to the Apollo 13 rocket, whatever it is. That moment in the games was so beautiful and so special between Joel and Ellie, and they did it so well here. From shot to shot, word for word, it was amazing. And I just really loved watching this play out. It was great, very heartfelt. And again, it just was so sad to see Joel and Ellie just so much in love, and how much Joel loves Ellie. He cares about her so much. And to just know what happened to Joel and what's happened to Ellie and what's coming for Ellie and what's coming for the rest of the story, it's just so devastating. And yeah, it just was very sad watching all this. Very heartfelt and very sad. But then we have a really interesting flashback with Eugene. So in the games, we only know about Eugene because Ellie and Dina go into... Well, he's mentioned a couple of times, and also you find more out about him from the letters, from the notes that you find around the game, around the world. And also in the game, that weed shop... Not weed shop, that's like a basement of where Eugene was growing weed. That was already in the show. But that's in the games, and that's kind of the only insight we have to Eugene in the games. But here I really like that they brought him into a realized character, and seeing what happened to Eugene and how his life came to an end is so sad. And it was a very interesting way to show a moment of how Ellie realizes for definite that Joel was lying to her about the fireflies because of the look that he gave her when Ellie asked Joel to promise her that he was telling the truth about what happened with the fireflies in season 1 and in the games, where Joel turns to her and he promises, but he's obviously lying. He does the same thing here where Eugene has been bitten by an infected and he's begging for them to take him back to Jackson so that he can see Gail, his wife, and speak to her for one last time before he dies. This is a very sad moment because you really want Joel to take him back. Even Ellie's like, look, he has time. Like, we can do it. He has enough time. Let's do it. And I was like, please do it. Please do it. But I was thinking they're not going to do it. I had a feeling the whole way through this. And Joel turns around and Ellie asks him, promise. And Joel looks her in the eyes and says, I promise. And then we know what happens. Joel takes Eugene out to a completely different area, looks out to a beautiful view. Joel tells Eugene to not turn around, and he kills him. And I was like, oh no, don't do that. Don't do that. But he did, and again, this was another moment that just solidified for Ellie that Joel was lying about the fireflies. And then when they go back to Jackson with Eugene's body and they bring Gail and Eugene's there on the floor dead and Joel completely lies to her face, I really like the fact, I really enjoyed it because I didn't expect it. Ellie just turning around and saying, that's a complete lie. He never did that. And she looks me in the eyes and says, you swore, and then walks off. I thought this was a really interesting way to show that Ellie has realized that Joel's just lying to her. She now knows that he's lying about the fireflies, and this just solidifies it for her to eventually confront him, which we then get with this end scene with Joel and Ellie on the porch. And I've already said this, but this whole scene on the porch was very powerful. I thought they did an amazing performance from both of them, Bella and Pedro. Just devastating, emotional, and also had a glimmer of hope in there. Like, After the conversation and Joel got out of his system and he finally admitted to Ellie what had happened, and Ellie says, I don't think I can give you, but I would like to try. That got me, and it just gave me like a little beautiful glimmer of hope of them two working out, even though we know it doesn't, and we know what happened to Joel. It was just that real moment of like, oh, they could have rekindled everything. They could have worked out. It could have, they could have got through it all, but it's not going to happen now. And it's just absolutely devastating. And then we have the final shot of Ellie back in Seattle, which is now going to be a very interesting final episode. I did look at the preview for the next episode, and it looks like it's going to be a good one. I can't wait to see all this play out, where Ellie gets the boat and she goes over the water to try and find Abby. For those of us that have played the game, we know what happens here. I'm not going to spoil it, but yeah. I mean, I'm interested to see how they're going to do this, how far they're going to go, what's going to happen. It's going to be a shocker episode for sure, and I can't wait to see it. So all in all, guys, I really enjoyed this episode. I thought it was a very strong episode. I definitely feel the loss of Pedro Pascal as Joel. Maybe we will get a bit more of him. There is a flashback that I'm hoping to get with Joel, Ellie, and Tommy. And there's like a big action set piece that we got in the games. Maybe we will get that in the next season 3. Who knows? There's already talks. Craig Mazin has already done an interview talking about the fact that he wants to extend this over Last of Us Part 2 story over 3 seasons. So it looks like we're going to be getting to season 4. That's if everything goes well. If season 3, they still have all the viewers. I think the viewership's doing well. I heard that it wasn't, but then I read today that it actually is. So it looks like everything's going great. I really hope that they do continue it. Maybe I'm biased. I love the game so much, so I'm enjoying a lot watching the show play out and seeing how they portray certain moments in the game into live action. For me personally, I'm really enjoying it. Anyway, for me, if I would give this episode a rating, I would give it an 8 out of 10. Anyways, guys, that's my review. I hope you enjoyed this. Drop me a like if you did. Let me know down in the comments. Are you enjoying this show so far? Are you not? Let me know what your thoughts are down below. And what would you give this episode? Did you enjoy it? Let me know your thoughts down below. Drop me a like if you enjoyed this. And if you are new here, hit that subscribe. That'd be amazing. Thanks again, guys. I'll see you all on the next one.